In honor of Harry and Gigi's retirement, Laura and I wanted to share a few memories, but in the spirit of honoring Harry's sermons, we decided to go over a bit. Laura was at Crossroads 8 years, and I was there 7 years. And I can remember meeting Harry for the first time and thinking that this was a man who really loved the Lord and who wanted to build his kingdom in Hillsboro. When Harry and Gigi arrived in Hillsboro, the area was known as a graveyard for church plants. The Skeels, including Peter, John, and Betsy, now Liz, all 5 of them, were effectively missionaries in a town that was suspicious or even hostile to genuine Christianity. As missionaries, the Skeels used all of their time and resources, their relationships, their house, their everything for the gospel. In all my interactions with the Skeels, I came away impressed about how they were always thinking about how to minister to others, to disciple a person one step closer to Christ. And they were always praying for their conversations to bear spiritual fruit. They were always on the lookout for how God might be opening up a person's heart to the gospel. One of my favorite memories of Harry was when he was swimming laps in the YMCA and afterward got into the jacuzzi to soak. Someone else he knew got in after him. So right then and there, he had a conversation sharing Christ with someone while in his Speedo. That's commitment, preaching in season and out of season, or in Speedo, as the case may be. Harry used to tell me that starting a church plant was like getting a big cargo plane off the tarmac. It was a heavy load, and you're always trying to gain momentum so that you eventually could get it off the ground and take flight. Each person stepping closer to Christ was helping the church family gain momentum to become sustainable. Harry had innumerable illustrations about the gospel and how to do ministry, many of them quite detailed, all of them impeccably introduced. Why all the infamous introductions? Harry has a burning desire to show people how the gospel is effective in real life, that Christianity is not dumb and mean, but intelligent, kind, and beautiful. He makes people excited about Jesus and God's kingdom. Harry's illustrations were often quite fun. If there was more time, perhaps I could tell you about the elephant on the air hose, or hand grenade counseling, or diamond-shaped usefulness, and so forth. Harry spent hours and hours with me as a young greenhorn pastor, fresh out of seminary. He was patient with my countless rookie mistakes. He had a gracious way of helping me see my character flaws, admit them, and grow from them. I still use much of his heart analysis when caring for others today. And as you can see behind me, he also gave me a slight obsession with books. Perhaps what I'm most thankful for is how Harry taught me the Herculean effort required to put forth sermons that exalt Christ and uplift his church body. I'll always be thankful for his example, taking such time and effort in crafting his sermons. It's been a blessing to me and my congregation ever since. And Gigi was just as effective discipling women, training them to teach Sunday school, lead Bible studies, and nurture their families in godliness. I have been blessed in the way she trained Laura. Laura is now our women's coordinator and runs many girls' Bible studies. Our church ladies have been blessed repeatedly by Gigi's mentoring ministry to Laura. But Gigi trained me as well. It was Gigi and 2 other ladies in the church who sat me down as a young youth pastor and graciously, patiently taught me how to communicate all the important details that mothers need to know in order to feel comfortable sending their teens to youth group events. Whenever mothers compliment my current ministry for communication, I tell them, thank Gigi.
I was looking for a church when I moved to Hillsboro in June of 2001. And it was back in the day of when you used to look in the newspaper. And I looked in the newspaper for churches, and Crossroads was right there at the top of the list. So I called the church office to ask about their service times and church. And Harry called me back to talk to me. And I was all excited saying, I'm new in town and I'm looking for a church. And I'm a recent college graduate. And Harry said, we don't really have anyone at our church just like you, but I'd be happy to help you find a church with other young 20-year-olds in it. And I thought it was so nice that Harry had called me back that I decided to come that Sunday. And we met at Triangle Elementary Cafeteria, and the rest is history. Harry was quick to put me on the greeting schedule because he knew that greeting is how you meet everybody. He was a very wise man. And I think it was providential that he was training me to be a pastor's wife from the start. And Gigi is a whiz at Greek and knows the Bible backwards and forwards, but her greatest gift may be helping people put the big pieces together and understand how the parts of the Bible fit together and help you to live life. I continue to use Gigi's teaching and wisdom with my women's ministry and with my D-Team girls. Harry and Gigi also lived out Christian hospitality. Many of the early events at Crossroads years were at the Skills House. It was the hub for so many church events. They hosted prayer meetings and Bible studies, new member classes, after church lunches, youth group events, and even Christmas Eve services in the early years. Gigi was so gracious to host all of the youth group kids at her house. Harry and Gigi also reached out to countless others. They trained their children to be such wonderful people bringers. People didn't realize how much the 3 skilled children worked to promote the church through their friend networks. In some ways, Peter, John, and Liz had a harder time than anyone as soldiers for Christ. And they are still walking with the Lord and love and respect their parents. And that is a testimony to how Harry and Gigi lived out their faith at home. They really practiced what they preach. Finally, Harry and Gigi also helped Sam and I navigate the tricky art of dating while in ministry in a small church setting. When we finally went public with our romance, all the ladies at the church said, "Oh, we were praying for you to get together." We have strong suspicions that Harry and Gigi had been praying the same. Sam and I are so thankful for their discipleship to us as individuals and as a married couple. We know the many blessings in our marriage and home flow from them investing in our lives. Our children have been blessed by your ministry to us.
Harry and Gigi, from the bottom of our hearts, we wanted to express our thanks and our love for your lives and your ministry.
You have accomplished God's purposes for you in your generation.
You have built up God's kingdom in New Jersey.
You have fought the good fight.
You have finished the race at Crossroads.
And you have kept the faith.
Now there is stored up for you the crown of righteousness,
which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award you on that day, who have longed for his appearing.
All our love and gratitude